This Rev3 Games episode is brought to you by Ting, mobile that makes sense.
What's making people uncomfortable is this little tent you got here. We gotta push that down.
Wow.
And there we go. Now no one has to be uncomfortable at all. You're welcome. You're welcome.
HR.
So Gamescom is wrapping up right now, I guess, right? Like it's over. Obviously we didn't go because Germany and it's far. But there were some announcements. There were a few announcements.
There was that Tomb Raider announcement.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
So that was really just, it's fun to be able to look back on that with a few days hindsight, because at the time there was kind of an uproar, and it's totally Microsoft and Crystal Dynamics' fault and Square-Enix's fault. But the way that they phrased it initially was that they said Tomb Raider, or Rise of the Tomb Raider is coming holiday 2015, exclusive to Xbox One. And they comma separated it in a weird way, so it sounds like they were saying, it's coming this holiday, and it's coming exclusive to Xbox One. And there's all this cagey language around like, it's exclusive for this holiday. Like at every possible, they had like 50 chances to clarify it, and every single time they spoke about it, they did it in the vaguest way possible to hint that it was completely exclusive, even though it's super duper not. It's gonna be on other platforms, obviously.
It's coming to 360 at the same time, which I find odd. But I'm guessing if they eliminated the 360, then they just would not have sold enough copies.
Maybe.
You know what I think about this, that's weird about this, like, I guess, controversy or the tension that this is getting is like, this happens all the time.
Okay, so I think I know what the difference is though. I think, to me, the difference is that they didn't, it's not like they showed the first trailer for Rise of the Tomb Raider and said it's exclusive to Xbox One. Like, that would happen and people would be a little upset, but it wouldn't be like this, where they've been showing this game off for like a few months now, and then after the fact, have all these people who are ostensibly excited the game. There theoretically could have been people who bought PS4s because they just assumed, oh, it was multi-platform on the last game.
Why wouldn't it be
this time? Like, I think obviously the Tomb Raider forums are going crazy right now, and I think like those people maybe have kind of a case. Like I think if you're upset by this, I get it. It's totally not a consumer-friendly move.
True, but are they upset by the fact that it was like kind of like shady marketing, or because they're gonna get the game, right? That's
I think they're just upset that it's exclusive.
Right.
A little bit exclusive.
Especially like, even if they had announced with the very first trailer that this was gonna be a Microsoft exclusive, the series traditionally hasn't been.
That was a PlayStation series.
It's kind of a strange thing to have, like, typically when you see a console or a publisher exclusive, it starts from the very beginning.
It'd be like when that Gears of War contract ran out, before Microsoft bought Gears of War from Epic, people were wondering if, because that contract ended, and because technically Epic owned that IP, if there would ever be a Gears of War game on PlayStation. This is sort of like if there was a Gears of War game exclusive to PlayStation, which for a million reasons would never happen. But if you look at the legacy of that franchise, like Tara, you're absolutely right.
Right, it normally opens up and stays open instead of like going exclusive to
Tomb Raider was like one of the most iconic PlayStation 1 games ever. And then there was like a PS2 series, and then they started trickling out entries on Xbox 360, some of those remakes and stuff, and then the Tomb Raider reboot was on everything, obviously.
So when I heard about this, I was like, "What? Like, this sounds so dumb. Like, why would they intentionally kick themselves in the butt over this?" And then I read that Ben Kuchera article you were talking about. That actually explains it pretty well. The basic idea is that the money, the kickbacks they get from Microsoft by doing this outweigh the potential loss of sales.
And stuff,
But there's no, like, I feel like this early in the new console cycle, that's such a huge gamble, because Microsoft is currently...
I don't think it is. I think Microsoft gave them a buttload of money.
Oh, of course they did. I have no doubt about that. But Microsoft also has way fewer consoles sold than PlayStation. And by the time the game comes out in over a year from now, you never know what those numbers are going to be.
Exclusives are such a weird thing because, like, even though the games industry is obviously an industry first, and like people need to make money, and like these games need to be bankrolled, I don't think there's really anything else about video games that is as bold-faced about being a finances first, consumer second thing than exclusives. Like, it's the only thing that is just like dead ass, like, yeah, no, we know you want to play it, but we would rather you, like, the chance that you'll go buy it on this other system is significant enough that we're just gonna like deny it to a pretty big percentage of the user base. But then, like, you've got developers like Nintendo who have built basically an entire business around exclusives, right? Like, nobody's buying a Wii U for any game that isn't created by Nintendo.
Right.
It's just such a weird element of our industry. Like, imagine if movies only came out at certain theater chains or something like that for a few months. It's so weird. It feels maybe it's necessary. Maybe
it's bad and good, because you don't want to have a monopoly on something like that, because then, say PlayStation didn't exist, Nintendo didn't exist, it was just Microsoft. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted with their consoles.
Totally.
And you couldn't say shit about it because they'd be the only ones.
Yeah, and like looking at the Xbox One, they kind of thought that for the first year of that system's launch, like they kind of thought they could do whatever they wanted and no one would say shit. They thought the always online thing was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that they've changed about that system, they thought that people would pay for Kinect because the thing has Xbox on the name and people will automatically buy Xbox. It's like we got to see in a perfect bubble a world where there was actually a Microsoft monopoly. Like you got to see that cockiness firsthand, and that's why it's important that we have these multiple.
Oh yeah, it's like
consoles.
a basic tenet of capitalism, you know.
Right.
It fosters innovation and creativity, and at the same time, it kind of screws over consumers. And I think that's why a lot of people do own multiple consoles because you're never going to find everything you like from just one company.
Yeah, it's easy to wonder, like, well, if there wasn't this exclusive deal, would they have considered maybe not making another Tomb Raider game?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what,
is this even going to sell well enough? Maybe it needed the exclusive as a type of guarantee.
That's a really good point. Like,
that's what they were
market.
saying in that Kuchera article, was that it's possible that this game only exists because
of
it is an exclusive.
But
so you may have to wait a year, but
if that was
then
the
it comes
case,
out
though,
at all.
If a significant part of the development of Rise of the Tomb Raider was bankrolled by Microsoft, then we should have known from the moment this game got announced that it was an Xbox exclusive.
True.
That's
like then there's no excuse to not tell the public.
That's a good point. So they're already making it. They're committed to delivering the game, and they are just doing the business of like signing a deal. And up until now, and the reason why we found out now is because they finally signed some deal.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily all about money either. A lot of people are saying that, like, sure, Microsoft probably maybe defrayed some of the costs of development of the game. Maybe I mean, it's an exclusive, so they're obviously going to promote the shit out of it.
Totally.
Which is like,
that's a lot of money.
PR is almost more expensive than the actual development of that kind of game.
And like, think about the fact that everywhere when GTA 5 came out, we were seeing TV commercials and billboards and stuff, and all of them said GTA 5 with a PlayStation logo on it, because Sony paid for that advertising on Rockstar's behalf in exchange for giving the illusion, as always happens in this industry, that it was exclusive when it really wasn't. Just don't lie to people. That's literally, it's not an unreasonable
It's asking a lot of people.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but you're right in the sense that they should want people to be excited about the game first, and then where it's going second.
Right.
And the opposite happened.
Yeah.
Now everyone's talking about
the story got away from them,
and
I hope that this leads to, like, I hope next E3 we hear people say, like, timed exclusive or first on PlayStation, and like that phrasing's fine. Say first on PlayStation. Don't say exclusively on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, never, just let's get that out of our vocab completely. That's all I want.
Anyone with a cell phone knows just how expensive they can be to maintain. Most carriers come with hidden fees, little to no customer service, and they charge an insane amount of money regardless of how much data you actually use. But not Ting. Ting is a new cell phone service that only charges you for the data you actually use. It supports an unlimited number of devices, including the ones you already own, and best of all, their customer service is top-notch. Never again will you be forced to talk to a series of robots. No matter what time of day you call, you'll get a real live human on the other line. And did we mention that it's cheap? The average Ting customer pays only $21 a month for one device. Head over to rev3games.ting.com and click on their savings calculator to see just how much money Ting can save you. That URL will also get you $25 off your first fill, and remember, every sign-up helps support Rev3 Games and puts money back in your wallet.
What it meant is we've got a much more vertical landscape. So we have a lot more tools like gyrocopters, where you can fly around little one-man helicopters, or the grapple to pull yourself up cliffs and sort of rock climbing environments, which means that the whole map feels different. You have to tackle it differently. Hopefully you have different opportunities and, of course, different stories to tell your friends.
So with the grappling hook,